Thanks again, everyone, for joining. Today we're going to be introducing you to Swingvy's latest integration. It's with Xero accounting software. So this is going to allow you to streamline your payroll to accounting process. I'm Katie Ash. I'm part of the marketing team here at Swingvy. And with me on the call today, we have Joseph Kim. He's our product manager who will be taking you through the call. And we also have Nicole Chung, who's our Swingvy's head of payroll. So today, Joseph is going to show you how you can turn on the integration within the Swingvy platform. And then he's going to talk about how you can go about connecting these two systems together in the way that best suits your business needs. So if at any point during this demo you have any questions about the Xero integration or about Swingvy payroll, you can use the Q&A button that's at the bottom of the Zoom call screen and drop your questions in there. And at the end of the session, then Nicole and Joseph will be able to answer your questions. So thanks again, everyone, for joining. I hope that you get a lot of value out of this call and out of the integration. So let's begin. Over to you, Joseph.
Thank you, Katie. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining the call. And today, I will walk you through on how Swingvy is integrated to Xero. But I would like to highlight that this feature, Swingvy integrated with Xero, is currently in closed beta, so it's not open for public yet. But if you would like to start using this feature, please stay until the end of the call to find out how you can enable the feature. So I will go ahead and share my screen to walk you through how you can integrate your Swingvy account to Xero and then send your payroll information to your Xero account. So my screen, I have signed into my Swingvy account and I'm on HR Hub. If you have your feature enabled, you can go to settings under HR Hub, then you should be able to see integrations menu. If you have not enabled this feature, you cannot see this menu called integrations. So if that's your case, please reach out to us or stay tuned until the end of the call to find out how you can enable this feature. So I will click on integrations. And on this page, you should be able to see Xero menu. So if you click on configure integration, it will navigate you to Xero integration settings page. If you have not connected your Swingvy account to your Xero account, you should be able to see Connect to Xero button on the upper right-hand corner. So I will go ahead and click on this button, and what Swingvy will do is it will take you to Xero. If you have not signed in, it will ask you to sign in. If you sign in, then Xero will request for you to grant permission to Swingvy to access your information in Xero. If you happen to have more than one organization configured within your Xero account, please select the correct organization and then click on the button. For me, I have another account that I have already connected to my Xero account. So once you click on the blue button just now on Xero, Xero will send you back to Swingvy to this specific page. So on this page, what you can do is you can set up your integration to Xero so that you can push your payroll information to Xero. There are two parts in configuration. The first part is to configure how you want to structure your payroll data when you're sending the payroll information to Xero. That is the configuration under integration section. And the second section is for you to map all your payroll items to your chart of accounts in your Xero. And also you can map each payroll item to Xero contact to group your payroll items into different bills. So first, I will click on this edit button for the first section. And once you click on it, it will allow you to edit the configuration. So there are two settings, type of mapping and track by. There are two options for type of mapping, net salary and basic salary. And depending on which option you select, the list of the payroll items on payroll item mapping section will be different. So if you click on net salary, it will be the payroll item will be populated based on net salary. Whereas if you click on basic salary, it will populate the payroll items based on basic salary. So for me, I will just click on that salary first. And track by is how you want to break down each of the payroll items. So you have two options. One is by company, and the second is by department. If you select by company, what Swingvy will do is within the bill in Xero, Swingvy will populate one record for one payroll item. However, if you select it by department, Swingvy will create multiple records within the bill, and one record will be for one department. So what Swingvy will do is it will break down each of the payroll items by each of the department you have configured in Swingvy. For me, I will click on by company, and I will click on save to save my settings. And the second section is payroll item mapping. So over here, you can map all the payroll items to your chart of accounts in Xero. Just an FYI, to find your chart of accounts, you can go to your Xero, and on top menu, you can click on accounting, and then click on chart of accounts sub-menu. Then you can see all your accounts configured within your Xero account. Now, coming back to Swingvy, I will click on edit button again to enable the edit mode. And here I have mapped each of my payroll items to accounts in Xero. So just for the ease of demonstration, I have mapped net salary to wages and salary, CPF, both employer contribution to CPF account, SHG to SHG, and SDL to SDL account. And also, third column, you can see Xero contact. What Swingvy does is Swingvy utilizes the contact information you have in your Xero so that you can group payroll items into different bills. To find the list of your contacts in Xero, you can go to Contacts on the upper menu, and then click on All Contacts. Here I have 3 contacts: CPF, Payroll Swingvy, and Salary. But at this point, I will leave the Xero contact as empty, not selected. And what Swingvy will do is it will create one new contact called Payroll Swingvy and put all your payroll item information into one bill with account information as Swingvy Payroll. So I will click on Save to save my settings. Once you have done this, you're all ready, and you can go to Payroll to send your payroll information to your Xero account. So what I will do is I'll go to Payroll. One minute, please. So if you have any questions in the middle, please leave your questions on the Q&A so that at the end of the session, either Joseph, myself, or Nicole can answer your question. Okay, so if you have your Xero integration feature enabled, you should be able to see this menu called Send to Xero. So if you click on this, you should be able to see all your payroll period you have in your Swingvy payroll. For me, I have August 2020 and September 2020 payroll information. And if you go to the second tab called History, this is where Swingvy logs all the historical transaction from Swingvy to Xero. So as you can see, an employee called Jane Lee, this is my account actually, I have sent September payroll to Xero 8 times. And you can see when I've sent all the information on the column called Data Sent. Now I'll go back to Send to Xero tab to show you how you can send your payroll information to Xero. So the first column is payroll period. So I have 2 months, August and September. And the total payment is the total payment that you have to make within this payroll period. And for me, since I'm connected to my Xero organization called Swingvy SG, this is what you see here under Xero organization column. And under status, you can see not sent and sent. If the status is not sent, that means you have never sent your payroll information to Xero. Whereas if the status is sent, that means you have sent the specific payroll period, specific period's payroll to Xero at least once. So I have sent my September 2020 payroll to Xero, but I will go ahead and click on the button again to send the same information to Xero. So once you click on it, you should be able to see this confirmation message. So it's just to confirm that you wish to send your payroll information to Xero. And also, if there's any issue with your integration settings, then we will highlight that there's an issue. But most of the settings in Xero integration settings page are optional. So even if you can see this warning message, Swingvy will not stop you from sending to Xero. So I will go ahead and click on send to Xero. And you can see that there's a confirmation message displayed on the upper right-hand corner. And once you see that message, you can go to your Xero, click on business, and click on bills to pay to check your bills. Because of the error just now, some of the settings are gone. I will go ahead and redo the settings. So as I mentioned, Swingvy doesn't stop you from sending multiple times to Xero. So I can just go ahead and come back to send to Xero page and send the information again. So once that's done, you can go back to your business and bills to pay. And if you go to draft tab, where all your bills in draft mode is kept, you can see the bills that Swingvy has created. So for me, I have sent twice just now. That's why you can see four bills. The reason why you see 4 bills is because I have mapped my payroll items to different contacts. So I'll show you how the configuration is done. So you have to go to HR Hub, Settings, Integrations menu to go to the Integration Settings page. Over here, I have mapped net salary to payroll Swingvy contact and the rest to CPF. So maybe in your company, you're tracking, you track payments in Xero in bills, and you create one bill for one transaction. So in most cases, you'll have 2 transactions every month. One transaction for your employees, which is net salary, payroll, and another transaction to CPF board. So if that's how you track your bills, then you can configure as follows. So that Swingvy can create 2 separate bills, one for payroll and one for CPF board. So going back to Xero, Swingvy has created 2 separate bills, one for payroll, Swingvy. If I open it up, this is the one I sent previously. So if I open up this one, you can see that net salary has been populated within payroll Swingvy bill. And another being CPF. If you open it up, you can see that Swingvy has populated CPF employee contribution, employer contribution, SHGS, SDL within this CPF bill. So as you can see, CPF employee, CPF employer contribution, SHGS and SDL have been mapped to CPF. I'll show you one more example by changing track by settings. So as I mentioned, what track by does is it breaks down each of the payroll items either by company, which is one record as a lump sum, or by department. So I will click on by department and save my settings. And once that's done, I will go back to payroll, go to send to zero. And before I push send my September payroll again, I will just delete my bills to reduce the confusion. And going back to Swingvy, I will send my September 2020 payroll information to 0. So once it's done, you can see the confirmation message on the upper right-hand corner. Once you see it, you can go to your 0 and just give it a refresh. Then, because I did not change the payroll item settings, how the mapping is done, it still creates 2 separate bills. But if you open up the payroll information, you can see that net salary has been broken down for each department. So I have 4 departments in my Swingvy account: human resources, management, finance, marketing. That's why there are 4 records. And it's the same for CPF bill. Each of the payroll items, which is SHGS and CPF, both for employee and employer contribution, has been broken down by department. And SDL is not broken down into different departments because SDL is actually calculated based on the total amount of employees' salary. So there is a difficulty in breaking down SDL by department. So that's why SDL is a one lump sum value. And that is the end of the presentation.
Great, thank you, Joseph. I have a few questions actually that are coming through, and there's more that's coming through at the moment. So just a reminder to any attendees on the call now, if you do have any questions that you'd like Joseph to go over again, or questions for Nicole around payroll, please do use that Q&A function at the bottom toolbar and drop your questions in there. So the first question I'll actually push to Nicole, and this is, someone has asked, what if they send the wrong payroll to 0? So can you undo a payroll once it's been sent to 0?
Yeah, thanks, Katie. Yeah, so let us review the reasons why they will post the wrong account to the payroll. I mean that once they have finalized their payroll and they realize that they will still have to make some amendment due to some unforeseen circumstances, so they can still go back to the payroll and we allow them to revert back to the adjustment. Then they can update with the latest amendment and finalize the payroll again. So they can always repost the payroll item to 0, because what we are doing right now is, as what Joseph has explained, all the bill push from Swingvy will be created as a draft in the 0 bill. So this will allow them to post multiple times as long as they just approve the final bill which is correct. Yep, so the answer is yes, they were allowed to do that.
All right, thank you. I guess there was another question that came through saying, why would you send multiple times? But I think that you've just answered that in that same question then. Is there anything else that you'd like to add just on that one of why people may have other options apart from sending the wrong payroll to 0, why you'd push the same payroll multiple times?
Yeah, I will not say that there will be a specific reason, but why we allow that is we know that sometimes mistake happens, all right? So there will be no right things like we only allow them to post one time. So that is the flexibility and also the convenience to the client where they do not have the pressure of only allowed to post one time to the 0. So I think the flexibility will help them to overcome anything which is unsure, right?
Thank you. And back to Joseph, I think that you did cover this, but someone's just asked again, what is zero contact? Perhaps you could just talk that through briefly again. What is zero contact?
Sure. So in Xero, to find contacts, you can go to Contacts menu on top and click on Contacts. So here is your contacts. So there are a few types of contacts. One could be customers, another could be suppliers, and there could be various type of contacts. But in general, in terms of bills in Xero, contact usually represents a recipient of the payment. So that is why in my demo just now, I have created two contacts. I have used two contacts, one for payroll and the other for CPF. So if my contact is for payroll or payroll Swingvy, that means the recipient will be the recipient of the salary payment, which is my employees. And if the contact is CPF board, it's the statutory payment that you have to make for the CPF board, to the CPF board.
Thank you. And another question that I'll send back to Nicole, this one is, may I know what the difference is between net salary versus basic salary mapping?
Yeah, so we do provide two type of method because different company, they will have a different accounting practice. So on the net salary is, I would base that majority of the company will be using, which means that they will just keep track of the net payout to the customer, to the employee. All right, so they will have a less item to define because majority of the salary will go to the wages and salary account. Then if the company, they wish to track in more details, because in Swingvy, we do have a claim module where they can allow the employee to reimburse their expenses. And all these expenses is actually not their salary. And this is out of the salary expense. And they would like to keep track in the different accounting code. So from Swingvy, they can let the employee to make the claim via our claim module. And all these claims can be integrated into our Swingvy payroll. And end of the day, when they want to capture in the Xero accounting, they can build a specific item just to keep track. For instance, like they want to have a separate accounting code for traveling expenses or accommodation expenses. So that will come in the basic tracking. So in that case, they can separate out what are the expenses belongs to salary and wages, and what are the item is belonging to travel allowance or other reimbursement. So it will give them a more detailed way for the accounting tracking. So that two options will be available in our Xero integration.
All right, great, thank you. And we have had one other question, which is about someone saying that they don't see this integration currently in their platform. So I think I can actually help with this one. What I'm going to do is just share on my screen right now. It's a QR code. So if you can see this now, it would be worth taking a screenshot of it or taking a photo of it on your phone. This is actually the place where you can go and request access to have this integration enabled within your Swingvy platform. So as Joseph mentioned at the beginning, this integration is currently in closed beta, but for the attendees today, we will be able to open this up within your platform and allow you to use the integration. So take a picture of it. We also will be sharing this via email afterwards. Once the team has set this up for you on your side, so if you request via this link and it is set up for you, you will then be able to see the integration enabled within Swingvy, and you'll also be able to watch the on-demand version of this video to just take it at your own pace in going through and setting it up in the way that you'd like to. So, of course, if you need any support at any time when you are setting up the integration, then you can reach out to our customer success team. But we will be sharing all of the details again via email after this call. So I think that brings us to the end of our session today. Thank you all for joining. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Joseph, for taking us through. I hope that everyone on the call today has found value in this and does enjoy using this integration that we have with Xero accounting software. So thanks again. That's the end of the call. Thanks. Bye.
Swingvy